Well, our zoning ordinance is pretty all-encompassing. If it's not expressly permitted, then it's prohibited. So where there's a food truck. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's some approach about that too. But, if we want to allow food trucks, I did my best on the application. It's not apparent yet to yeah, there's I put an extra A in there.
Most insurance companies that require you to carry that in
That's right. Yeah, just take up that A.
there's I think it comes down 4 more.
I have not received any calls, but Christian may have, but so the purpose is for us to build a warehouse to go along with this industrial.
Good. Good to see you, sir. I said good to see you. You too. You been hiding on? Yeah, I'm around.
Till then.
See, this little bird here, I made business this morning. I got flyers to
We don't have one yet.
You have.
No, we'll wait until JJ.
Agree. It's called going blind.
Plus a little all the way on it. I got you coming in too.
JJ is typically at 5 o'clock.
I know, we always late.
I left my phone in my
Mine
says.
His wife and Jim, his wife,
Oh, no.
You stopped to talk.
Someday we'll do the shop. Thank you, Christian.
we will now call the Livingston Planning Commission meeting to order. Did everyone have a chance to read the April 4th, 2022 minutes?
I move we accept it. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Consideration on request of rezoning 5 parcels located on North Church Street, East 4th Street, and Oakland Park from R1 low density residential and C1 local commercial to I1 light industrial.
Thank you, Matilda. So what we have is we have an application from Mr. Pranioto, who is proposing to buy the property or has already bought the property. Already bought the property. So he owns the parcels that are highlighted there. We have 2 that are, well, one that is an existing industrial I-1 that's there on the corner of Church Street, and I believe that's East 4th. And then so there are 4 additional parcels, 2 of them, which are R1 low density residential located on Oakland Park, and 2 and 3 parcels that are C1 that you can see 2 of them don't have frontage, or one of them fronts East 4th, one does not front a street, and then C1 that fronts Church Street. And so Mr. Pranioto is here joining us via Zoom, and what I'll do then, if it pleases the commission, is I'll allow him to tell us why he wants these parcels to be rezoned to I-1. Mr. Pranioto, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
All right, please, if you would, tell the commission why you would like to rezone these parcels from C1 and R1 to I-1 light industrial. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. As you may know, that I'm submitting these applications because that's part of the project to revive the Livingston Chocolate Factory back to operation. In order to do that, we need more storage as well as more loading docks. I understand that during the previous activity, the facility actually is being split. There is some area to the warehousing, there is some area also to the storage. And I think it's going to be very practical and raise the efficiency if everything is done in one side. And furthermore, when I'm looking through that property, and I understand from Mr. Calder that actually that property is being used actually as a storage during the operation. The only difference, right, I think it's been installed like a couple of trailers, and they load all of the stuff actually on the trailers. So basically, practically, actually, we do the same thing, but I just thought it's more proper. If that storage, it should have the proper zoning on that one. And as we producing food products, I think it's very hygiene and good sanitation if we just conceal everything in one building, not just the open area that we're doing. That is we provide for. So that's actually my proposal. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Pranioto, so in summary, you want to build some additional structures that will be incidental and an accompanying use to the existing industry or to the industry that you would like to establish at the I-1 location. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. And just with Christian here, since there are 5 parcels that are planned to be rezoned and 1 parcel that is already zoned correctly, but all of the parcels would then be for one use, we would have to combine all those parcels because I'm sure that the parcels would go over property line and violate setback encroachments.
Yes, sir. They would all be rezoned and combined into one. The problem has been that Jimmy is waiting on the surveyor to lump all that together. And that should be in the next few weeks that will be done. And so he still will maintain the setbacks on the corner lots on that R1 lot that you see that becomes on the corner of 4th Street right there. But yeah, the intention is to put all these into one parcel.
Thank you, Christian. That clears that up pretty good for me. So, just so everybody can understand, if the property is rezoned to I-1, these parcels will then be combined in going from 6 parcels down to 1 parcel, all I-1, and then Mr. Pranioto will build structures that will be storage for the industrial use that he's planning on operating at what formerly is known as the Livingston Chocolate Factory. Is that pretty much it?
Correct. That's exactly right.
Okay, so there is the layout. And now, members, if you have questions for Mr. Mansell, myself, or Mr. Pranioto, we will certainly take them at this time.
Okay. I noticed that the letters have been out sent to the property
Yes.
people in the areas. Were there any complaints or any discussion on that?
I delivered all the letters to all the property owners. Actually, Mr. Woolbright's here as one property owner, and then Tommy Burke he was supposed to be here, or Tommy
Rooker.
Rooker said he was coming tonight, Now, he did, have some concern about the R1 turning into I1, and I thought that he would be here, but to, speak for himself, but that was his concern. I think, his brother-in-law lives in this property he owns, that adjoins that right there.
Members of the committee, would you like to hear from Mr. Woolbright, see if he has any concerns?
I have none.
You have no concerns? Thank you.
I assume all the utilities are in place to handle this expansion.
Well, he would, of course, his power, he would work on it but the utilities are there for water and sewer and what have you, and of course, electricity would come later, whatever his, needs would be in a warehouse, type situation. But everything else is there,
How about loading dock?
Now, that's something that we have not seen a drawing on, as far as the intentions of where the dock would be. Of course, it would have to meet the requirements. The existing dock that's there is right on the side of the street. And, so I think these other docks would definitely, be off of the street. And Jimmy may be able to answer that, as far as their intent on where they're planning on establishing those docks.
So they will have to come back with a site plan if we approve this.
Yes.
Thank you.
That would be one concern of mine, if they're gonna put the loading docks for access on Oakland Park.
Of course, at that time, we'll have to approve that site plan, so.
So Tommy, all you're asking for tonight is just approval of this, general plan. He'll have to come back with a full site plan.
Tonight, what is being requested is for us to recommend to the council to rezone those 5 parcels from their respective current zones to I-1. And of course, there will also be a public hearing at the second reading of this rezoning. For example, if Mr. Rooker had questions, he wasn't able to be here tonight, he can certainly make his thoughts known at the second reading if it makes it that far.
Would that not be contingent upon approval of the site plan and proper setbacks?
No, it wouldn't, because this is just a rezoning of the parcel. The use is proposed, and so, this is his plan currently, but if we rezone the parcel, or the parcels, he could do anything that is a use that is permitted under I-1 in our zoning ordinance, which is light industry.
Right.
Wouldn't be able to do anything that we would consider heavy industrial, but would be able to do anything that is a permitted use under light industrial. But I think Mr. Pranioto needs to know as well, if all this does get rezoned, before any construction could take place, he would have to come back to this body with a site plan for what he wants to do, and then we would have, we would have to approve that site plan for building permit, or, would be issued in construction at the start.
Yes, of course, I understand.
All right. Any further discussion?
Madam Chairman, I'm going to move that we approve this request and pass it on to the Board of Aldermen for their approval.
I'll second that.
A motion has been made by Robert to approve and seconded by JJ. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
We'll do a roll call, Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind. So what we have is a motion by Robert Jolly to recommend the aforementioned 5 parcels be rezoned from R1 low density residential and C1 local commercial to I1 light industrial, recommend that to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, second by J.J. Hollers. A vote of yes or aye will be to approve the motion. A vote of no or nay will be to negate the motion. Does everyone understand the motion that is on the floor? Robert Jolly,
Yes.
Matilda Speck,
Yes.
J.J. Hollers,
Yes.
Ricky McDonald.
No.
Madam Chairman, motion passes with a vote of 3 ayes, 1 nay, 0 abstentions. McDonald.
Thank you. Item 4, consideration final site plan of retail package store located on West Main Street, Patero site plan.
Madam Chairman, I'm going to yield to our, oh, I'm sorry.
If Jimmy wants to sign off,
We've got him hanging there.
Yeah, oh, and before we do that, Mr. Pinato, I would imagine this will appear for first reading at the June 6th Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting, and the second reading will be, well, July 4th is the first Monday in July. And so we'll get with you for sure to let you know when the second reading is.
Okay, sir.
thanks, Jimmy.
He should be able to
You can,
just hang up.
you can stay or
Bridget, can you cut him off?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Bridget. We've got much bigger here. Footers. They just put gravel there. I'll let you explain. Sorry about that, Mr. Chairman. I think he's ready to go.
So this is a proposal for the Jack's Liquors there on West Main. As you can see, the total building is 6,000 square feet. It'll have 19 parking places with it. And if you look at that drawing, it says 4,400 square feet of retail. So, and that is the total outside space there. And that puts us over a little on our parking. But when we take out what's inside, there's a huge walk-in cooler. I have another drawing up here that shows what's going on inside. It's actually about 3,200 feet of actual floor space that you're gonna have in there for the retail area. And so, he'll have 15, he'll be able, 15 parking places with one handicap.
That's what's required for the 3,200 square
Yeah,
feet.
so we changed in our zone, we changed it to 200, square feet per spot.
200 square feet of retail customer space for parking spot.
And the overall on that drawing I printed out, and I do have an updated one where we took out the walk-in cooler and, which doesn't count as floor space, and it chops it down to a little over 3,000 feet.
So he'll have 18 regular spots and one handicap
Yes,
spot.
that's right.
Would you say 12 regular?
18.
18, okay.
Yeah.
I think he'd be required to have 15 and one, but he'll wind up with 18 and one.
So as y'all can see, there's a few there on the front that faces West Main, and then there are several on the side that is next to Hardee's, on the Hardee's side there.
Does the front of the building, is that where you enter, or do you enter from the side?
You'll enter from the front.
Christian, I'm guessing just one ingress, egress
Yes.
from, and due to the fact that there has never been anything there, or hasn't been anything there for a while, will he have to get a new T-Dot driveway permit from them?
So he has done talk to on that driveway. I think he's done talk to T-Dot on them, and he may be, he'll have all that information tomorrow. He's actually going to apply, if this goes through tomorrow, to Nashville, and also to get preparation for his license, for his liquor license.
I think that we need to just make sure that we're doing our due diligence and make sure that he has that T-Dot permission before we issue. I think we can print a site plan before we get that, but I certainly don't think we should issue a building permit until we get that okay from T-Dot.
Which it already has a concrete entrance already built, and that will remain. You know, there's no changing of that entrance that's there, so.
But I don't know, Rick, you might know the answer to this one. There's a change in use of something. Does T-Dot have to, once it's cut, always cut, or do they have to reissue permission to use that?
I don't know how wide it is, but if it is commercial and it's not wide enough, he'll probably have to widen it. And that's the sidewalk and cut and curb and gutter, so he'll have to, replace the sidewalk. And that's, they'll tell him that when he permits it, when he gets a permit. But I'm not aware of this one coming through, but that don't mean I don't necessarily have to be aware of it.
Well, I know the state has been involved in this, in different levels because of the flood elevations and things of that nature. And, so that's another study that we gained from this project is, there will be a base flood elevation that has been established. It's actually in that creek only for that property, but dealing with them, that building will be, as you'll notice on the elevations, I think that's at 9, let's see, what is it, 950 or something like that. And so Hardee's is at 948, and Fast Pace is at 948. So that building will be 2 foot higher than the other projects beside that.
So essentially, that 950, what Christian is talking about, is the water they expect, or the level that they expect water to rise to during the event of a 100-year flood. And so the purpose of building up there is so that building will be above the flood level that they expect. So that's a good thing.
Definitely, and we've been pushed to this point. Although that area's never flooded, it still was in the flood zone, so we had to have that study done, and it has been done. And actually, that 950, I think the base flood 100-year plan would be like at 947, and we had to be 3 foot above that.
These dark lines on the outside, is that a wall or What is that?
That's that curbing that's already there.
It's already there.
Yeah,
So there's no drive-through windows or anything like that?
no, sir.
Okay.
Actually, Hardy's, and you'll see that property line jump over that on the Hardy's property. That property line is in, Hardy's has established onto that property. So there's a line that's over on the Hardy's property that is his actual property line. And then he's 10 foot off of the fast-paced side.
And, I mean, just, he, you know, the applicant is aware that the parking lot will have to be paved.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Are there any further questions? Entertain a motion to pass or not to pass?
I'll make the motion. Just give him permission to try it.
So, motion to approve.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Ron.
And I'll second it.
Robert, John made a motion to approve, and second by J.J. Pollard. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. No opposition, motion carried. Is there any other business?
None for me, Madam Chairman?
J.J.? Ricky?
No.
Robert?
No, ma'am?
Phyllis? Can I entertain a motion to adjourn?
First of all, glad you're back.
Thank you.
We
Absolutely.
missed you.
Good to be back.
I move we adjourn.